sixth patriarch could not bear to see those two dull heads, so he made. Daibai asked Baso, "What is Buddha?" Baso said,
"I want you to know, I will love you as long as I breathe."
There's a masked armada
If
in the
anyone
orbit.
fully understands this, he
You're
is
facing a
wearing
full
Buddha's
invasion
clothes.
from him.
He is eating Buddha's food.
How can you be so sure the great
You're out of your mind.
is nothing?
Consider what you're about to do, Paul Atreides.
Blue sky, bright
As
sunset,
it said, my lord,
one need not
as a servant of the Imperium,
asking
you
what
won't know it
Buddha
might
is
be
or
much
what
fate.
he
You'll be lucky to keep your hand.
declaring
I'll
oneself.
take the hand of your daughter. She will remain safe, and we will rule together over the Empire.
A traveling monk asked an old man
You have to answer for my father.
to a temple supposed to give wisdom
I want you to know,
worships there.
I will love you as long as I breathe.
Someone told this incident to Joshu, who said, "Wait until I investigate." The next day he went and asked the same question, and the old woman gave the same answer. Joshu remarked, "I investigated that old woman."
Yeah.
Mumon's comment. The old woman understood how war is planned, but she did not know how spies sneak in behind her tent. Old Joshu played the spy's work and turned the tables on her, but he was not an able general. Both had their faults. Now I want to ask you, what was the point of Joshu's investigating the old woman? When the question is common, the answer is also common. When the question is sand in a bowl of boiled rice, the answer is a stick in the soft mud. A philosopher asked Buddha, "Without words, without the wordless, will you tell me truth?" The Buddha kept silence. The philosopher bowed and thanked the Buddha, saying, "I have cleared away my delusions and entered the true path." After the philosopher had gone, Ananda asked the Buddha what he had attained. The Buddha replied, "A good horse runs even at the shadow of the whip." Mumon's comment. Ananda was the disciple of the Buddha. Even so, his opinion did not surpass that of outsiders. I want to ask you monks, how much difference is there between disciples and outsiders? To tread the sharp edge of a sword, to run on smooth frozen ice, one needs no footsteps to follow. Walk over the cliff with hands free. A monk asked Baso, "What is Buddha?" Baso said, "This mind is not Buddha." Mumon's comment. If anyone understands this, he is a graduate of Zen. If you meet a fencing master on the road, you may give him your sword. If you meet a poet, you may offer him your poem. When you meet others, say only a part of what you intend. Never give the whole thing at once. Nansen said, "Mind is not Buddha. Learning is not the path." Mumon's comment. Nansen was getting old and forgot to be ashamed. He spoke out with bad breath and exposed the scandal of his own home. However, there are few who appreciate his kindness. When the sky is clear, the sun appears. When the earth is parched, rain will fall. He opened his heart fully and spoke out, but it was useless to talk to pigs and fish. Seijo, the Chinese girl, observed Goso, had two souls, one always sick at home and the other in the city, a married woman with 2 children. Which was the true soul? Mumon's comment. When one understands this, he will know it is possible to come out from one shell and enter another, as if one were stopping at a transient lodging house. But if he cannot understand, when his time comes and his 4 elements separate, he will be just like a crab dipped in boiling water, struggling with many hands and legs. In such a predicament he may say, Mumon did not tell me where to go, but it will be too late then. The moon above the clouds is the same moon. The mountains and rivers below are all different. Each is happy in its unity and variety. This is one, this is two. Goso said, when you meet a Zen master on the road, you cannot talk to him, you cannot face him with silence. What are you going to do? Mumon's comment, in such a case, if you can answer him intimately, realization will be beautiful. But if you cannot, you should look about without seeing anything. Meeting a Zen master on the road, face him neither with words nor silence. Give him an uppercut, and you will be called one who understands Zen. Gozo said, when a buffalo goes out of his enclosure to the edge of the abyss, his horns and his head and his hoofs all pass through. But why can't the tail also pass? Mumon's comment. If anyone can open one eye at this point and say a word of Zen, he is qualified to repay the 4 ratifications. And not only that, he can save all sentient beings under him. But if he cannot say such a word of true Zen, he should turn back his tail. If the buffalo runs, he will fall into the trench. If he returns, he will be butchered. That little tail is a very strange thing. A monk asked Joshu why Bodhidharma came to China. Joshu said, an oak tree in the garden. Mumon's comment. If one sees Joshu's answer clearly, there is no Shakyamuni Buddha before him, and no future Buddha after him. Words cannot describe everything. The heart's message cannot be delivered in words. If one receives words literally, he will be lost. If he tries to explain with words, he will not attain enlightenment in this life. Hyakujo wished to send a monk to open a new monastery. He told his pupils that whoever answered a question most ably would be appointed. Placing a water vase on the ground, he asked, who can say what this is without calling its name? The chief monk said, no one can call it a wooden shoe. Isan, the cooking monk, tipped over the vase with his foot and went out. Hyakujo smiled and said, the chief monk loses, and Isan became the master himself in iron stocks. Giving up cooking utensils, defeating the chatterbox. Though his teacher sets a barrier for him, his feet will tip over everything, even the Buddha. Bodhidharma sits facing the wall. His future successor stands in the snow and presents his severed arm to Bodhidharma. He cries, my mind is not pacified. Master, pacify my mind. Bodhidharma says, if you bring me that mind, I will pacify it for you. The successor says, when I search my mind, I cannot hold it. Bodhidharma says, then your mind is pacified already. Mumon's comment, that one lost his arm and was deformed. Alas, ever since he has had brainless disciples. Why did Bodhidharma come to China? For years, monks have discussed this. All the troubles that have followed since came from that teacher and disciple. In the time of Buddha Shakyamuni, Manjushri went to the assemblage of the Buddhas. When he arrived there, the conference was over, and each Buddha had returned to his own Buddha land. Only one girl was yet unmoved in deep meditation. Manjushri asked Buddha Shakyamuni how it was possible for this girl to reach this state, one which even he could not attain. Bring her out from samadhi and ask her yourself, said the Buddha. Manjushri walked around the girl 3 times and snapped his fingers. She still remained in meditation. So by his miracle power, he transported her to a high heaven and tried his best to call her, but in vain. Buddha Shakyamuni said, even 100,000 Manjushris could not disturb her. But below this place, past 1,200 million countries, is a bodhisattva, Momyo, seed of delusion. If he comes here, she will awaken. No sooner had the Buddha spoken than that bodhisattva sprang up from the earth and bowed and paid homage to the Buddha. Buddha directed him to arouse the girl. The bodhisattva went in front of the girl and snapped his fingers, and in that instant, the girl came out of her deep meditation. Mumon's comment. Old Shakyamuni set a very poor stage. I want to ask you, monks, if Manjushri, who is supposed to have been the teacher of 7 Buddhas, could not bring this girl out of meditation, how then could a bodhisattva who was a mere beginner? If you understand this intimately, you yourself can enter the great meditation while you are living in the world of delusion. One could not awaken her, the other could. The drama still would be a comedy. Shuzan held out his short staff and said, if you call this a short staff, you oppose its reality. If you do not call it a short staff, you ignore the fact. Now what do you wish to call this? Mumon's comment. If you call this a short staff, you oppose its reality. If you do not call it a short staff, you ignore the fact. It cannot be expressed with words, and it cannot be expressed without words. Now say quickly what it is. Holding out the short staff, he gave an order of life or death. Positive and negative interwoven. Even Buddhas and patriarchs cannot escape this attack.
From last night's space on UFO on the U.S. Navy base Crane,
Basho said to his disciple, when you have a staff, I will give it to you.
Underneath
If you have no staff,
Crane,
I will take it away from you. Mumon's comment.
and well, that was weird.
When there is no bridge over the creek, the staff will help me. When I return home on a moonless night, the staff will accompany me. But if you call this a staff...
Hey, what's up, John?
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon, man. Sorry I missed your call yesterday.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, it was bad timing. I would have definitely liked to speak. I'm glad we can catch up now. What's going on?
Just having a cup of coffee, trying to follow the money.
I know, right? You and me both. I'm doing my 2-hour Maha walk right now. I'm almost at hour 2.
Nice. Are you stretching at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because after you warm up with the cardio, now you got to do some hip rotations and hamstring pulls.
Yeah, I'll definitely do some stretches when I get back to my place. So what'd you call me for? What's going on?
So I've been fundraising on Clubhouse. We've raised $510. We've got multiple Craigslist ads up in Rockford, Peoria, and Chicago trying to find campaign managers. And so I just wanted to chat with you to try to do an X Spaces money bomb for the campaign. And the campaign would compensate you as an influencer. And we can see how much money we raise.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. If you have like a day in mind, let me know, and we can schedule it in advance.
Yeah. And I think any day of the week works. I think maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, Eastern or maybe Central would be best. And then, it could create an actual event. And and if the campaign would pay you to do creative in the same way that that you do in the past. So, something maybe next week, maybe end of this week. I don't know, whatever your schedule, says.
Okay, yeah, let's get on it. I would love to.
Okay, great. Anybody else in the room who doesn't know me? My name is John. I live in Chicago. I'm running for Congress in Illinois, and I know Augustus through Clubhouse, and I did a lot of social audio spaces with Augustus with regards to politics, the COVID-19 vaccines, and even UFOs.
So maybe this board of directors, you got Lisa Disbrow, John Mengucci, Susan Gordon, William Hughes, Ryan McCarthy, Scott Morrison, Philip Nolan, Deborah Plunkett, Stanton Slow, and Charles You will enter hell like an arrow. ZEWS. With this staff in my hand, I can measure the depths and shadows of the world. Might be something. The staff supports the heavens and makes firm the earth. Everywhere it goes, the true teaching will be spread. They look like made-up people. Hoan said, the past and future Buddhas both are his servants. Who is he? Mamon's comment. If you realize clearly who he is, it is as if you met your own father on a busy street. There is no need to.
So, yeah, Flash, were you in this space last night about
to ask anyone whether or not your recognition is true. Say what, brother? I think you got drawn up. Do not fight with another's bow and arrow.
Were you on the
Do not ride another's horse. Do not discuss another's faults. Do not interfere with another's work.
I'm finding, so looks like it's from about 1985, a bunch of,
Seikiso asked, how can you proceed on from the top of a 100-foot pole? Another Zen teacher said, one who sits on the top of a 100-foot pole has attained a certain height, but still is not handling Zen freely. He should proceed on from there and appear with his whole body in the 10 parts of the world. Ask Black if any of the names that I mentioned have popped up. Mamon's comment. While you're looking at the page. One can continue his steps or turn his body freely about on the top of the pole. In either case, he should be respected. I want to ask you monks, however, how will you proceed from the top of that pole? Look out. The man who lacks the third eye of insight will cling to the measure of 100 feet. Such a man will jump from there and kill himself like a blind man misleading other blind men.
Wow.
Tosotsu built 3 barriers and made the monks pass through them. The first barrier is studying Zen. In studying Zen, the aim is to see one's own true nature. Now,
whistleblowers have come forward saying that there were all forms of technologies, divisions at this location, and podcasters that have said that it's a matter of national security for them not to continue to talk about this stuff on their podcasts. So naturally, I want to talk about it now. you know, so I did a big space about it last night. And the people who are in the know said to follow the money. So this is kind of like a follow-up space about that. And yeah, it's truly fascinating.
Cool.
Yeah, as far as like a money bomb goes, to be honest with you, I've been having some difficulty getting a lot of people into an X space recently. It has to be like about a certain topic, and I need to have like certain influencers here with me in order to do it. But like if it's next week, I might be able to get some influencers in on it to help me and get people here. And the only thing is that I don't know if you got like a beef with them or not. Like Maze, don't you have like a beef with Maze?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so that's gonna be difficult, you know. I'll try my best to help.
You can ask her.
I mean, I don't know if we can raise any money.
You can ask Maze, even though we have a.
By myself.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, you can ask Maze because sometimes if you have a beef with somebody, those make the most interesting conversations. And I promise I'll be a total gentleman. So, yeah, I don't know. I know you're not using Clubhouse anymore, but for the past few weeks, Roger Mayhem, I don't know if you know Roger, but he goes by Mojo now on there. He's been doing money bombs for me in the campaign. And so we raised 510, and some of the biggest haters became contributors to the campaign. So that was, an interesting turn of events, and a lot of the racist bigots and low IQ morons on that app, have essentially started waging war against me, and they're supporting Darren LaHood, who I'm running against. They're creating houses, updating their PTRs. So it's like causing all kinds of chaos in Clubhouse. And unfortunately, some people have been getting doxxed. So Roger had to take a break from the app. I think he's worried about, his security or just like causing further tensions. So hopefully he will come back to the app because he is very knowledgeable of politics and organizing. But we have to get about 30 petition signatures every day leading up to October 27th. So I'm going to have to, on weekends, go to other parts of Illinois, Rockford, Peoria, and Bloomington Normal to start gathering signatures. So all the money that we raise will go towards actually hiring people on the ground to get petitions so we can get on the March primary ballot. But also, I mean, the topics that we could talk about, is the national debt. We could talk about the war in Ukraine, the war in Israel. We could talk about vaccines and other topics. But anyways, I mean, that if it's like an event that we could plan with a date and a flyer, a profile picture, campaign website, all that stuff, like it's, that type of communication. And if anybody lives here in Illinois, please hit me up, send me a message. I'd love to chat with you if you're available over the next couple weeks to maybe do some petition signatures.
Okay, thanks, man. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, boy, you sound good.
Nice. I just went on the elevator. Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Welcome to the stage, Tyler.
Hey, Augustus. How you doing, man? Sorry I missed your space last night. Can you give like a minute and a half synopsis of what you found and what you're trying to do?
Yeah, we just seen that basically
Where is your true nature?
forward-facing information
Realizes
about
his
what
own true nature.
the base does is basically they're like, yeah, we do electromagnetic weapons, we do direct energy weapons, thermonuclear weapons.
Now, when you shut the light from your eyes and become a corpse, how can you free yourself? Thirdly, if you free yourself from birth and death, you should know where you are. Now your body separates into the four elements. Where are you? Mumon's comment. Whoever can pass these three barriers will be a master wherever he stands. Whatever happens about him, he will turn into Zen. Otherwise, he will be living on poor food, and not even enough of that to satisfy himself. An instant realization sees endless time. Endless time is as one moment. When one comprehends the endless moment, he realizes the person who is seeing it. A Zen pupil asked Kembo, all Buddhas of the 10 parts of the universe enter the one road of nirvana. Where does that road begin? Kembo, raising his walking stick and drawing the figure 1 in the air, said, here it is. This pupil went to Umon and asked the same question. Umon, who happened to have a fan in his hand, said, this fan will reach to the 33rd heaven and hit the nose of the presiding deity there. It is like the dragon carp of the eastern sea, tipping over the rain cloud with his tail. Mumon's comment. One teacher enters the deep sea and scratches the earth and raises dust. The other goes to the mountain and raises waves that almost reach heaven. One holds, the other gives out. Each support the profound teaching with a single hand. Kembo and Umon are like two riders, neither of whom can surpass the other. It is very difficult to find the perfect man.
I'm reading it real quick.
Frank Road.
And who are the whistleblowers? Do we have their names?
Amban, a layman Zen student, works words and actions. I think he is very mischievous. He is like an old donut seller trying to catch a passerby to force his donuts down his mouth. The customer can neither swallow nor spit out the donuts, and this causes suffering. Mumon has annoyed everyone enough, so I think I shall add one more as a bargain. I wonder if he himself can eat this bargain. If he can and digest it well, it will be fine. But if not, he'll have to put it back into the frying pan with his 48 also and cook them again. Mumon, you eat first before someone else does. Buddha, according to a sutra, once said, stop, stop, do not speak. The ultimate truth is not even to think.
Oh, he's in an elevator, okay.
Amban's comment. Where did that so-called teaching come from? How is it that one could not even think it? Suppose someone spoke about it, then what became of it? Buddha himself was a great chatterbox, and in this sutra spoke contrarily. Because of this, persons like Mumon appear afterwards in China and make useless donuts, annoying people. What shall we do after all? I will show you. Then Amban put his palms together, folded his hands, and said, stop, stop, do not speak. The ultimate truth is not even to think. And now I will make a little circle on the sutra with my finger, and add that 5,000 other sutras and Vimalakirti's gateless gate are all here. If anyone tells you fire is light, pay no attention.
I wanted to make you an
When two
offer.
thieves meet, they need no introduction.
Diligent does those
They
spaces
recognize
where he
each
has
other
Grok
without
like do
question.
a bunch of research for him. He just asks Grok questions and it digs into it and gives him the answer. And have you heard that at all, or you're not really going to his space?
I've seen it like once or twice, but I don't really go into his spaces.
Okay. Do you want? I have one of those bots. It's connected to. I have Grok, ChatGPT, and I also have Gemini. So I have 3 different ones, and it took a while to figure this out, dude. I had to make a special cable that connects my phone to my iPad, and so it allows like. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details, but basically it was tricky to figure out. But yeah, I mean, if you ever want to use it, I mean, I just built it like 3 days ago, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Let's train it.
What's that?
I said, bring it in. Let's train it.
I mean, I want to get Augustus permission. I mean, it would take over the space a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't have to. What it could be is just
Make sure it's grounded, bro.
Yeah,
It's grounded. Will be fine. It won't take over the space. I'll tell it to shut up, and it'll shut up.
Yeah, it only responds if I'll unmute it whenever it needs to respond. Just so, do you want me to do that, Augustus?
With this space?
Yeah, to follow. I mean, what we do is we just say, hey, this is the base. We're trying to follow the money. Tell us.
I was starting us out on it.
Right. Well, you can call it later. You can call it smart, because it shortcuts a lot of the manual effort. And then when we get to like some serious leads, then we start contacting the right people, and then we do the manual effort at that point. But yeah, let me set it up, and let's see if it can like help us out with this, because it can do online research. Like while you ask it, you can say, hey, go online and do the research on this and get.
and the koan. There is a saying in Zen that original realization is marvelous practice. Japanese, Honsho Myoshu. The meaning is that no distinction is to be made between the realization of awakening, satori, and the cultivation of Zen in meditation and action. Whereas it might be supposed that the practice of Zen is a means to the end of awakening, this is not so. For the practice of Zen is not the true practice so long as it has an end in view. And when it has no end in view, it is an awakening, the aimless, self-sufficient life of the eternal now. To practice with an end in view is to have one eye on the practice and the other eye on the end, which is lack of concentration, lack of sincerity. To put it in another way, one does not practice Zen to become a Buddha. One practices it because one is a Buddha from the beginning, and this original realization is the starting point of the Zen life. Original realization is the body, Ti, and the marvelous practice of use, Yun, and the two correspond respectively to prajna, wisdom, and karuna, the compassionate activity of the awakened bodhisattva in the world of birth and death. In the two preceding chapters, we discussed the original realization. In this, and the one that follows, we turn to the practice or activity which flows from it. Firstly, to the life of meditation, and secondly, to the life of everyday work and recreation. We have seen that whatever may have been the practice of the tongue masters, the modern Zen communities, both Soto and Rinzai, attach the highest importance to meditation, or sitting Zen, Zazen. It may seem both strange and unreasonable that strong and intelligent men should simply sit still for hours on end. The Western mentality feels that such things are not only unnatural, but a great waste of valuable time, however useful as a discipline for inculcating patience and fortitude. Although the West has its own contemplative tradition in the Catholic Church, the life of sitting and looking has lost its appeal. For no religion is valued which does not improve the world, and it is hard to see how the world can be improved by keeping still. Yet it should be obvious that action without wisdom, without clear awareness of the world as it really is, can never improve anything. Furthermore, as muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone, it could be argued that those who sit quietly and do nothing are making one of the best possible contributions to a world in turmoil. There is, indeed, nothing unnatural in long periods of quiet sitting. Cats do it. Even dogs and other more nervous animals do it. So-called primitive peoples do it, capable of experiencing the world in which we live to the full. For one does not know the world simply in thinking about it and doing about it. One must first experience it more directly, and prolong the experience without jumping to conclusion. The relevance of Zazen to Zen is obvious when it is remembered that Zen is seeing reality directly, in its suchness. To see the world as it is concretely, undivided by categories and abstractions, one must certainly look at it with a mind which is not thinking, which is to say forming symbols about it. Zazen is not, therefore, sitting with a blank mind which excludes all the impressions of the inner and outer senses. It is not concentration, in the usual sense of restricting the attention to a single sense object, such as a point of light or the tip of one's nose. It is simply a quiet awareness, without comment, of whatever happens to be here and now. This awareness is attended by the most vivid sensation of non-difference between oneself and the external world, between the mind and its contents, the various sounds, sights, and other impressions of the surrounding environment. Naturally, this sensation does not arise by trying to acquire it. It just comes by itself when one is sitting and watching without any purpose in mind, even the purpose of getting rid of purpose. In the Soto or Zendo, monk's hall or meditation hall of a Zen community, there is, of course, nothing particularly distracting in the external surroundings. There is a long room with wide platforms down either side, where the monks both sleep and meditate. The platforms are covered with tatami, thick floor mats of straw, and the monks sit in 2 rows facing one another across the room. The silence which prevails is deepened, rather than broken, by occasional sounds that float up from a nearby village, by the intermittent ringing of soft-toned bells from other parts of the monastery, and by the chatter of birds in the trees. Other than this, there is only the feel of the cold, clear mountain air, and the woody smell of a special kind of incense. Much importance is attached to the physical posture of Zazen. The monks sit on firmly padded cushions with legs crossed and feet soles upward upon the thighs. The hands rest upon the lap, the left over the right, with palms upward and thumbs touching one another.
The body is held erect, though not stiffly, and the eyes are left open so that their gaze falls upon the floor a few feet ahead. The breathing is regulated so as to be slow, without strain, with the stress upon the out-breath and its impulse from the belly rather than the chest. This has the effect of shifting the body's center of gravity to the abdomen so that the whole posture has a sense of firmness, of being part of the ground upon which one is sitting. The slow, easy breathing from the belly works upon the consciousness like bellows and gives it a still, bright clarity. The beginner is advised to accustom himself to the stillness by doing nothing more than counting his breaths from 1 to 10, over and over again, until the sensation of sitting without comment becomes effortless and natural. While the monks are thus seated, 2 attendants walk slowly back and forth along the floor between the platforms, each carrying a keisaku, or warning stick, round at one end and flattened at the other, a symbol of the Bodhisattva Manjusri's sword of prajna. As soon as they see a monk going to sleep or sitting in an incorrect posture, they stop before him, bow ceremoniously, and beat him on the shoulders. It is said that this is not punishment, but an invigorating massage to take the stiffness out of the shoulder muscles and bring the mind back to a state of alertness. However, monks with whom I have discussed this practice seem to have the same wryly humorous attitude about it which one associates with the usual corporal disciplines of boys' boarding schools. Furthermore, the Soto regulations say, at the time of morning service, the dozing ones are to be severely dealt with the keisaku. At intervals, the sitting posture is interrupted, and the monks fall into ranks for a swift march around the floor between the platforms to keep themselves from sluggishness. The periods of Zaspir of the Soto a slightly military air. The rituals are signaled and accompanied by about a dozen different kinds of bells, clappers, and wooden gongs, struck in various rhythms to announce the times for zazen, meals, services, lectures, and interviews with the master.
All right, this feels almost illegal to know, but our windows were so old and just desperately needed to be replaced. So I called a few contractors, but they all quoted me a hefty $10,000 or more for new windows, and I almost lost it. That's when my friend, who's a realtor, stopped me and said, if you're a homeowner and your windows are older than 5 years, you might qualify for this new 2025 window replacement service. At first, it sounded too good to be true, but it turns out he used...
The ritualistic or ceremonious style is so characteristic of Zen that it may need some explanation in a culture which has come to associate it with affectation or superstition. In Buddhism, the 4 principal activities of man, walking, standing, sitting, and lying, are called the 4 dignities, since they are the postures assumed by the Buddha nature in its human nirmanakaya body. The ritualistic style of conducting one's everyday activities is therefore a celebration of the fact that the ordinary man is a Buddha, and is, furthermore, a style that comes almost naturally to a person who is doing everything with total presence of mind. Thus, if in something so simple and trivial as lighting a cigarette, one is fully aware, seeing the flame, the curling smoke, and the regulation of the breath as the most important things in the universe, it will seem to an observer that the action has a ritualistic style. This attitude of acting as a Buddha is particularly stressed in the Soto school, where both zazen and the round of daily activities are not at all seen as means to an end, but as the actual realization of Buddhahood. As Dogen says in the Shobogenzo, without looking forward to tomorrow every moment, you must think only of this day and this hour. Because tomorrow is difficult and unfixed and difficult to know, you must think of following the Buddhist way while you live today. You must concentrate on Zen practice without wasting time, thinking that there is only this day and this hour. After that, it becomes truly easy. You must forget about the good and bad of your nature, the strength or weakness of your power. In Zazen, there must be no thought either of aiming at Satori or of avoiding birth and death, no striving for anything in future time. If life comes, this is life. If death comes, this is death. There is no reason for your being under their control. Don't put any hope in them. This life and death are the life of the Buddha. If you try to throw them away in denial, you lose the life of the Buddha. The 3 worlds of past, present, and future are not, as is commonly supposed, stretched out to inaccessible distances. The so-called past is the top of the heart, the present is the top of the fist, and the future is the back of the brain. All time is here in this body, which is the body of Buddha. The past exists in its memory, and the future in its anticipation, and both of these are now. For when the world is inspected directly and clearly, past and future times are nowhere to be found. This is also the teaching of Bankei. You are primarily Buddhas. You are not going to be